Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. This is the show here on the channel where we take a look at some of the cool new releases that are coming out in the genres of progressive rock, heavy metal, hard rock, jazz, fusion, classic rock. That's kind of the different musical art forms that we cover. Today we're going to take a look at the new solo album called Spiritus Mundi from Nad Sylvan. All right, so if you're not familiar with Nad Sylvan, he is a singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. Man, he's played with a lot of people. He's probably most known for being the vocalist in Steve Hackett's Genesis Revisited band. So when Steve goes out on the road and plays like the old classics from his time in Genesis, Nad comes along because he's able to sing both the Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel stuff really well. He's got that kind of voice, right? But he's also been in Agents of Mercy. He's also been in Unifawn. He's done some stuff with the Flower Kings and Roy Stalt and Anderson Stalt, the Winter Tree. And he's got a whole bunch of solo albums. This is his seventh solo album, I believe. This follows up The Regal Bastard from 2019, The Bride Said No from 2017, Courtin' the Widow 2015. So he's been pretty prolific in recent years. He's got Sylvanite from earlier in the 2000s, Life of a Housewife, and the Home Recordings, which are earlier things from the 90s. But this is his brand new one. It is on Inside Out, owned by Sony Music, right? So let's take a look at this here. There's Nat on the cover. Got a little digipack going on here. All right, there's a gentleman that I'll be talking about in a second who playing guitar on this album. So this is Nad along with Andrew Latres. I'm not really sure how he says his name. But he is accompanying Nad here on all sorts of different acoustic and electric guitars, nylon string guitars. We got Tony Levin plays bass on here. Mirko De Meo plays drums. Mirko, of course, with the Flower Kings. You've got, there's all sorts of special guests on this album. I believe that's the bulk of the folks who are on here. But for the most part, it's a Nad and Andrew affair on here. Nad is, of course, doing all the vocals, all the keyboards, occasional drums and bass and guitars, with Andrew doing, the bulk of the guitar work on here. Really lush stuff. I'm trying to make sure we got Kiwi Tecoma also on Chinese flute and oboe. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody here. Oh, okay, so here's some other folks. We got Jonas Reingold, also from the Flower Kings, on bass on the track. We got Neil Whitford also playing some electric guitar on here. Who else we got? Is that everybody? Steve Piggott, additional electric guitar. There's Tony again. There's Mirko. Mirko's a great drummer. Steve Hackett, of course. Steve Hackett appears on To a Child Dancing in the Wind on 12-string acoustic guitar. Yeah, so take a look at the booklet here. This is, you know what? I hate to always toss out examples of what things sound like, but I know that's usually pretty important to kind of whet the appetite for, there are the guys right there, whet the appetite for people on kind of what they can expect here. So I've heard a few of Nad's solo albums. They run the gamut from, lush pastoral prog to a little more on the symphonic side and everything in between. One of the things that I found while I was listening to Spiritus Mundi, the brand new one, is it just kind of takes me back to a time that it brings up two things to mind. How many people here are fans of the Genesis song Ripples? Right? Okay, Ripples was one of the band's first, maybe second hit singles, right? That's a song they did when Phil Collins first took over lead vocals in the band. That kind of lush, poppy, proggy, folky, just kind of gem of a song, right? Just a gorgeous track, all these cool keyboards and vocals and things like that. A lot of this album doesn't remind me of that song, but it just reminds me of that type of song, right? In addition to the very first two Fish solo albums. Fish, of course, former lead singer of Marillion. So when he first went out on his own, and did the first couple solo ones. It has that kind of Celtic flavor. It's like prog, but not folky, but not Celtic, but not. It's a very gorgeous album. You got, tracks like The Second Coming kicks it off. Really great vocals from Nad. Again, if you need that kind of Collins Gabriel itch with a little bit of Fish, that's kind of the domain that Nad kind of sits in with his vocal style. And the music, nothing on here overly rockin', but it doesn't need to be. Wonderful acoustic guitar textures all over the album. Plenty of cool keyboards. You got The Second Coming, and most of the tracks, the 4 to 6 minute range. The Second Coming, about 7 minutes. Sailing to Byzantium comes in second. You got Cap and Bells, The Realist, The Stolen Child, very good song, great vocal melody on that. An Isle in the Water, The Hawk, The Witch and the Mermaid, and then the really, really nice album closer. There's a couple of bonus tracks on here, but The Fisherman, which again has those lush vocals, the constant wash of keyboards, and the lovely guitar textures. Just a really, really nice album. And again, it just kind of like breezes along in that with that kind of those proggy, folky tones with plenty of pop melodies on here as well. You've got a couple bonus tracks. You've got To Find a Way and To a Child Dancing in the Wind, right? So, but the album is not terribly long. It's I think like 45 minutes, maybe 50, something like that. Perfect length. Great lush progressive rock. Again, if you love old classic Genesis, maybe bits of IQ, but also maybe the more poppy stuff of like solo John Anderson, that sort of thing. And like I mentioned, those early Fish solo albums. That's just kind of the feel you get here. It's just a very rewarding, lush, pastoral, enjoyable, at times symphonic slice of modern progressive rock with a healthy nod to the past. Nad Sylvan Spiritus Mundi. He's got his little... Very cool album. So check it out if you haven't. It's brand new, hot off the presses. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. More reviews coming up today. Of course, today is What's Hot with Sea Tranquility Day. So be on the lookout for new album releases, new reviews from Cirith Ungol, Mammoth featuring, of course, Wolfgang Van Halen, and the brand new Halloween. So stay tuned for that. And a lot more here on the channel. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Thanks for watching. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.